we don't sort of celebrate rest in the same way as we do productivity.
No.
So, you know, I think that when we give ourselves that time to rest and restore, and
it's so powerful.
You know, things like imagining yourself coming up with the answer before you go to sleep at night. Say you want to be more creative around whatever it is, bringing colors together, imagining yourself doing that, seeing yourself, you know, sitting there painting your face, being more creative. You'd be amazed at how that starts to generate that idea, because it's using the power of your imagination.
Yeah.
You know? And so you're rehearsing it. So then you start to look for that pattern in the environment and start to seek it out. You know?
True. There's things that I definitely find help. Like, for example, a particular video about makeup, and I've got some of the bits out in front of me, but otherwise I've put everything I'm going to use in a clear bag. So I can go to bed tonight knowing you've already sorted what you're going to need in the morning. It's like getting your uniform ready or getting your stuff packed. And sometimes things like that can make a huge difference to how productive I feel when I then come to use them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's because it's preparation, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Laying down that sort of that plan, which is really good. So I'm just using a bit of reddy brown and a black.
Lovely.
Just on to sort of line the eye slightly, but not massive.
I've gone in with a really thin, tiny little pencil detail brush. This is a Bobbi Brown liner brush. And again, I've done everything with shadows, because I think as well, with wings in particular, I'm still learning where my wings now go, because my eyes have dropped a little bit. And I find that if I do it with my shadows, it's much easier to take my ring finger and smudge out anywhere I'm not happy with, in comparison to if you've gone in with your wet liner, you're just thinking, oh my gosh, I've committed to this now. Yeah,
and the other great thing, do you ever use these tiny little...
Oh, do you know something? I've only got the big, huge ones at the minute, but those tiny ones are the best ever.
Yeah, and then in the micellar water, and then...
And a little... We're on the same page here, Lee.
So girls who are watching, that's definite, you know, one to look out for, to sort of get into the habit of doing whatever makeup you're doing, or if you're practicing, then you can it can help you just clean up the edges, you know.
Definitely. Any sensitive girls like me, I just did this a little while ago. La Roche-Posay, the skincare brand that's designed for sensitive and sensitized skin, they've got mascara dedicated to you if you're prone to redness, prone to your eyes running, hay fever, anything like that. It's brilliant.
And it wears well, that one, Rose, does it?
Yeah. What I would say is it takes me a tiny bit longer than a normal mascara to build as much volume as I would like.
Yeah.
But if you're patient with it and you give it a good bit of time, you'll absolutely get there. But it's very, very good for the sensitive eyes. And you're not scrubbing and scrubbing at it to get it off. It removes quite easily.
Oh, that's really good to know, actually. So favourite other mascaras? Because that was another question. Mine, I would say mine, for a budget, I quite like the Masterpiece Max Factor one. Is a budget kind of 10 quid mascara, if that's what you want. But if you want cruelty free, then the Kat Von D Go Big or Go Home's really brilliant.
I've not tried that one.
Oh god, it is mega lashes when you use that one.
Really? That's what I like. I like a nice big set of lashes.
Because I thought it was quite funny as well that the name was Go Big or Go Home. And I thought, well, seeing as we're stuck at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's really good. But it's about 20 quid, I think, for that one. So, you know, depends on what your budget is, really.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've done, girls, is because my eyes sort of go down, they're more like half moon, like similar to the sort of shape you've done, Rose. So like it's a bit of a triangle at the outer corner.
Yeah.
So you kind of get the triangle and then it comes out. So I've used something like a wedge brush like that.
Yeah.
Pull it up and this was just a black eyeshadow, but just gives a sort of slight tilt, doesn't it?
And you'd think you'd used a liner, like a liquid, but because you've got all of the same flick and poise.
Yeah.
But it's amazing the difference it makes. And another thing I think for me is just say, because I was using, as you were, a little detail mirror to get in really close and see what I was doing. But then it's so crucial that you always look forward as well and see what it's going to look like when someone's looking at you, as opposed to looking at your mirror down like this is actually quite flattering on your eye, and you can spend all that time doing it and then look up and think, where's it gone?
Yeah, that's so true. And this is particularly true if you've got more hooded eyes as well.
Yeah.
You know, and if your eyes are dropping just through the passage of time, which mine are, then that whole thing of creating more of a socket, like I could look ahead now and think to myself, right, I might put a bit more in this bit here, for instance, just to pull it out a bit more. So when I look straight ahead, I might have a tiny bit more in that bit just to knock that socket back. A question here. What's your favourite pencil for use in the waterline? Have you got a favourite one, Rose?
Nicola, I thought you'd never ask. I've got a selection here ready to show you.
I want to know this
question I've been waiting for. So, I personally love a really creamy liner pencil because I want it to glide on. I don't want anything scratchy. And I really love these Pixie, they're called Endless Silky Eye Pens. You can see how much I love that one. It's a brown. Wherever possible, I like to swap a black for a brown. I just think it looks lovely. But I use all of the different ones. If I want, sometimes what I like to do is have, like, for example, the Gillian Dempsey coal pencils.
I've never used those.
Do you know what? They're nice for if you want to sketch your smoky eye shape, you can blend that like a shadow and it won't set. So they're really good for that, and in the waterline. And one other one that I'll show you now, actually. I fear that my light is a bit dark in here and I'm hopefully not showing you as clearly as I could be. This Surratt Brightener. Surratt was one of those brands that I kept seeing and thinking, is all the hype? As they say, it's meant to be very good. But one end is a brightener and then you unhook it and you've got your highlighting pigment in there. So it's all about making you look more awake. And I love this kind of fleshy colour if I'm feeling a bit tired, or sometimes with a really smoky look. I almost think the contrast of the fleshy colour can make the darker colours pop.
Yes. I think it's great also if you want that sort of less sort of really smoky, more sort of 60s wide-eyed,
Yeah, absolutely. That's a question, Lee. If you could go back to any era in terms of like how they wore their makeup and you have to wear your makeup like it all the time, which era would you choose?
60s.
Would you?
Because I'd just do loads and loads of black and loads of mascara.
I'm torn between the 60s and the 70s because I feel like the 70s was quite disco-y.
It was actually. The glitter in the 70s was amazing, actually.
That's why I don't know which one to pick, but I absolutely love I love false lashes. I would sing about them when the cows come home. Love them.
Yeah. Do you ever use Swede No Lash?
I've got some of those and I used them once ages ago. They're very, very nice.
So
Have you been using those?
So subtle. I mean, it can be a bit fiddly to get off.
I think they're a bit fiddly.
And great, obviously.
I think with tweezers, getting them off, everyone seems to use tweezers for lashes. I find it a lot easier to just use my hands. I see people using tweezers and I find that a bit fiddly, whereas especially with those Swede ones, I literally would go in with my little grabby hands and pull them off, and that seemed to make it less likely to break.
God, you are good. I find that I just they stick to my fingers and everything, so I end up having.
It's the other thing. Nicola, the Surratt one, it's called. Now the shade I've got was Effervescence, and it's the Inner Light Baton. Lovely brand, Surratt, actually. Have you tried any Surratt bits, Lee?
No, I'm blowing my hands up.
He was Kevin O'Quan's assistant, and he's made his own brand, and it's lots of the eye colours in particular are very sheer, finely milled glitter that just give a lovely sparkle. There's some really lovely products in the range, really nice.
I love a bit of glitter, I have to say.
Absolutely.
Really, especially when it's quiet. I think, it's that sort of thing that people used to say, once you get to a certain age, you shouldn't put any glitter on your face. And I completely disagree, because I think you can use shine to bring out parts of your face. So if you've got, say, very hooded eyes, and that maybe you don't see much of your eyelid, but putting a bit of something metallic just sort of down here in the bottom can really bring them out, open them up. So sort of strategic with it.
As well, there's a real misconception, and I don't know where it comes from, and I think we've all got a responsibility to challenge it. But like, say for example, I've had a few ladies recently that have messaged me and said, I saw that makeup you did the other day, could you do a version of that for a mature skin? I actually haven't replied yet, because I don't want to say anything in the wrong way, but what I want to say is, who cares? That's going to look lovely on you. There isn't another way I would do it for a mature person. It's going to look lovely the way it is. I think there's definitely things that can work for different face shapes. Like, for example, my eyes being a bit more rounded, or someone else's being a bit more almond shaped. But other than that, I just think, no, let's all have a laugh and do our makeup.
I so agree with you. That whole sort of thing of, you get to a certain age and you have to do this and you have to do that. I think textures, and sort of application tips can sometimes help. I think the big thing is have fun and enjoy it,
and feel nice in it.
Yeah, totally. So I'm using this Saint-Tropez bronzer.
I didn't know they did makeup products.
Yeah.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, it's really nice actually, because it's got the 3 tones in it.
And do you just sweep them all together, or how do you use that one?
Well, I tend to just use the paler ones, but for instance, I might use that as an eyeshadow some days.
Yeah.
So I play around with it. You can use. It actually works quite nicely. That one is an eyeshadow. If you want to sort of boost.
Yeah, a little bit of the depth there.
Yeah.
I'm going with again. I'm drawing on my asymmetric lips. I've obviously done half. I'm going in with one of these Bobbi Brown crushed liquid lips. It's basically a really buttery but really pigmented formula. I absolutely love these. They're really, you get like the shine of a gloss without the irritating texture. Very buttery, they last really well.
So does that come off if you're eating and stuff, or will it sort of seal?
To an extent, it comes off, but it leaves a stain.
Okay.
You've always got something there until you can top it up fully again. But I mean, I've actually gone a bit too far into my own rule here, but I really love overdrawing my lips. I do take great pleasure in that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is by a brand called Emoline. They bought out a range of lipsticks and nails to match, and this is one of their lip liners, which is just a very nice shape if you want something that's similar to your lip color, and isn't gonna sort of look too obvious if you overdraw. So if I overdraw a bit now,
you'll get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite overdraw, admittedly.
What are your desert island lip balms? Because lip balm for me is my desert island product. That's the one thing I could never be without. I can't bear having dry lips.
I know. Desert island. Oh, I'll tell you what, actually. Who's this one by? This is what I've been using. Let's see if it's by. Oh, this is by Patchology, actually. This is kind of like a gloss and a lip treatment. I don't know if you can. It's a bit bright, isn't it? You can see that.
Well, I think that one.
It's called Lip Service. So basically, it's just a very, very thick kind of lip treatment. So it's very, very nice. Feels great on the lips. And Patchology actually do some gorgeous sheet masks. So yeah, Patchology, they do like face, they do eye patches. They do these amazing ones for your hands and feet. They're like these bags you put on your hands at night, and they just hydrate your hands. So we got a finished look now, haven't we?
A finished look.
What do we think, ladies?
Yeah, would you have any thoughts, feedback, views?